I am Rai, and with me is.
Decade,
And the little king.
and today we're talking about Kaitou Sentai LupinRanger versus Keisatsu Sentai PatoRanger, episode 24. So we open on Cafe Chirere. Kairi is unsure where Raimon and Giwi are hiding. The police don't have any leads either, aside from poor drawings that Noel gave them.
Hey, I found those to be accurate.
Considering the
Yes,
actual article, it's not that far off.
it's accurate if you've seen them before, but the police probably had no
Yeah.
idea what they were looking at. So Umika is surprised that some customers got some exclusive tickets to a concert. They replied that it's because of their lucky pendants. Kairi asks where they bought them, and then we get the opening. Any thoughts?
It was a cute opening, and hey, free concert tickets? Who am I to say no?
It was a good follow up to last week where those two Gangler got away. Like, hey, we need to find them.
Yep, and it's nice that these Ginglar are a little bit smarter and they're not just rampaging through the city. So you get the episode title number 24, Promised to Return Alive. And then we cut to a noisy club. Coyote snoops around and finds the seller. He wishes I guess, a customer good luck in English. And at first I didn't think it was a Q Ranger reference, but then
But then later.
Kaidi, yes, we'll get to that. So Kaidi confronts the seller, but then the global police show up with Noel. He reveals himself as Giwi, and Potamon show up. People run away. Keisatsu change and fight. Kaidi tries to Kaito change, but Sango spots him and takes him to safety. Uh, yeah, any thoughts before I get into the heavy stuff?
Rock meet hard place. And again, it was fairly obvious to tell who Giwi was. I mean, they kind of make it obvious nowadays, but you know. But my god, it's hard to believe we're 24 episodes in at that point now. Oh my god!
Ooh, yeah. Like, we're halfway through this show. Uh, and I'm surprised that we're jumping already into the next one of the three. I thought that we were going to. I thought we were going to, like. These two are going to stick around for a while, but nope, we're already dealing with the second one. I do like Kyrie's approach, like, oh yeah, just talk to the guy and be like, yeah, so what's your evil plot here? And then we don't get to see how that would have played out because, hey, the cops are here. Don't you hate it when the cops bust in on your rave, I mean?
I know, right?
Party's over, kids. So Kairi thanks Tsukasa and tries to leave, but she questions him. He pretends to be just interested in the lucky pendant. Tsukasa tells him to be careful so he doesn't worry his older brother that he lives with. Kairi asks how she knows that. And then we cut back to the club. The Rangers are unable to damage Giwi with blasts, and he retreats. Tsukasa confesses that they investigated the three Jiraiya staff. Kairi says that he'll forgive her for pretty much
Invading her
stalking him.
privacy.
Yeah. Uh, as long as she doesn't lecture him. You're going to say something, Kate?
No, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Of course, she disagrees, but then she tells him about how she lost her parents when she was young and was raised by her grandparents. Her grandpa was a strict policeman, and yeah, he pretty much trained her in judo or whatever. And she kind of distanced herself because he was so strict. Then we get a flashback, uh, and basically, her friend gets assaulted by a creep. She throws the creep over her shoulders, but gets cut. Grandpa shows up, and he's worried sick about her. He's glad that she's okay. Kairi realizes, or he realized that his brother was pretty much the same in feeling pretty much being a substitute parent, but he realized that only after he lost his brother. Uh, so yeah, pretty deep stuff. Thoughts?
One thing that I think most people were expecting when we first got the idea of a dual Sentai was that the two reds would pretty much be polar opposites, but entities between one another, and the same would go for like girl to girl, boy to boy, that sort of thing. But I love that. Well, yes, most of the like counterparts are polar opposites of one another. They still find a way to make connections, just not with their exact counterparts. In this case, I love the idea of the red Lupin Ranger and the pink Pat Ranger actually being a lot more alike than you'd think. And they're very subtle in showing it. It's not like over the top, like plot point stuff or something like that. I thought that was really a genuinely good idea. It fleshes out both characters and gives them interactions that you don't normally get. Especially like, okay, maybe the girls interact a lot, yes, the reds interact, of course. Maybe some blue and green stuff if you're lucky. But this kind of interaction we almost never get. So I really love this.
Not only that, but we almost never get this kind of reaction specifically between red and pink. Like, not only is it an interesting combination here, it would just be an interesting combination in any normal Sentai. And I don't know, we don't, as far as we know, Tsukasa hasn't even told this story to Keiichiro or Sakuya. So, I like the idea here that she's opening up to, Kairi and, kind of bonding with him over it. In fact, like, if this was just a single Sentai series, and Kairi and the other people at Jura were just people that they knew, I could still see this scene, like, happening with, oh, one of the Rangers sees just a normal person they know in this scene of the crime. Kairi plays his role really well here, because he's just kind of being himself at this point, but he also has a secret to hide.
Yeah, it's always fun watching him basically fool the police. So yeah, Kairi basically asks why she doesn't quit. Uh, because, well, she reveals that she wants to live a quiet life with her grandparents, but that can't happen
Oh,
without restoring peace.
one more
Oh,
thing
you
I
had
wanted to
something else
say.
to say? Okay.
Yeah, like it makes sense that like with their grandfather being as strict as he was that they would grow apart. And I'm glad that they brought up that detail. Like, hey, sometimes when you're rough to family, like they stop seeing you in such a good light. But then they had that experience that kind of brought them back together. I just thought that was a good detail.
Yeah, and it definitely made it hit Kairi in the feels because him and his brother had a falling out as well.
Right. The contrast
But
there of he didn't make up.
yeah. So yeah, she promised her grandparents to return alive, so that's why she can keep moving forward. Uh, and Keiichiro calls her and she leaves. Kairi understands the importance of a promise like that because obviously the thieves' whole deal is that they promise to return their loved ones even if some of them die. Any thoughts, King?
Sorry, I'm trying to pull the arrow of feels out of my heart. Hang on.
Oh, are you
This
okay?
was. Oh my god. I need a minute. You go on without me.
This was uh, this was just a really good episode overall here. Uh, um, Sorry, I'm not quite sure what to say about this.
It's definitely it was a surprise for sure because I mean we all saw the episode trailer and it's like, oh, okay, this is an interesting couple to focus on, but this was definitely even more intense than the Keiichiro Umika stuff. But yeah, this is good. So yeah, Giwi pays Amigo for a new disguise. Raimon thinks Amigo is kind of a creep for being disguised as a human so much. And Giwi kind of taunts him, saying that this Amigo is Raimon's arch rival. And Raimon comes up with a plan. So basically, Giwi's pendants show their true nature and start turning people into plants. Sakuya and Noel see one of the victims. Noel says that the pendants are draining their life force. Kogure explains to the thieves that once the pendant's luck expires, it feeds off the victims. So they will eventually die. Yeah, the Sentai just keeps on getting darker. And he gives the thieves some leads as to where Giwi might head next. And Jim detects Giwi as well. And this is the only problem I had with the episode. Didn't he literally just buy a new disguise from Zamigo? So why is he walking around in the old disguise? That didn't make much sense to me watching it the second time. Thoughts?
King? Uh, I don't know why King isn't talking, but uh, the thing about his new disguise is I don't. Did he? Did he not put it on, or did they catch him in his Ganglar form? What happened there?
Hey, I'm so sorry. My laptop just shut off with no warning.
Oh, you're back though.
Sorry.
Did you catch all that, or did you miss it?
Most of what Decade said. Sorry.
Basically everything up to they found him again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Did you have any thoughts on just everything that happened up to they find him again?
No, not really.
Yeah. It's just a little unclear, like how the police actually found him again. Because was he not wearing the new disguise he put on, or what?
Yeah,
I don't know.
they spotted him with the facial recognition, and he was wearing his old disguise. So that was weird. Or maybe that was before the incident, and they spotted him going to that warehouse previously. I guess that would be a better explanation. But anyways, I'll move on. So the thieves show up first, and they scold Giwi, and he explains that he's filling the world with green and eliminating humans at once. How efficient. The thieves aren't impressed. They Kaito change, roll call. Potamon show up, they attack, get some nice acrobatic fighting, and the LupinRanger music is always great. The PatoRangers arrive as well. Sango and Red fight Giwi, uh, but of course he can dodge every single blast with his collection piece, and he's a pretty good sword fighter. Sango considers using the pendant, but hesitates because of the risk. Lupin Red, though, doesn't care and just recklessly uses the pendant to help him blast Giwi, and it works. He continues to fire and is eventually turned into a plant, but he buys Blue enough time to steal the collection piece. Yugo and Patoran X defeat Giwi with the finishers. And holy crap, uh, Patoran X's finisher was really pretty. Uh, the victims and Red are freed. Thoughts?
Now that is how you do reckless grandeur right there. And I love that he knew the risk, he just did not care. And it paid off. Yes, it was stupid, but it was still awesome.
It shows a really good contrast between the two after showing the comparisons between them. Sango thinks, hey, maybe we can win if we use this, but it's dangerous. Whereas Red goes, or Kyrie goes, oh, we can win if we use this? Okay. Like, what, he didn't have time to think because they need to get the collection pieces back. And that's all to their side of the thing. Of it. Also, you mentioned how good the music is. Earlier, when Kairi and Tsukasa were talking to each other and it played like an instrumental version of the opening theme, that was really good. I need to get this series soundtrack. Uh, and X's finisher was beautiful. That was a really good uh, effect there. That was the word.
Yep, it was a fun fight. So, Patron X is impressed with Red, but Sango is kind of bothered by his recklessness and lack of self preservation. So, Pato Kaiser and Emperor X deploy after Giwi's turned giant. Zamigo watches the fight from afar. Raimon shows up and asks him if he wants to join forces. Giwi is defeated. Zamigo doesn't give an answer yet. Raimon straight up just turns giant to teach the humans a lesson. But he's like maybe 2.5 times the size of the Ranger mechs and straight up knocks them on their ass and shoots a bunch of missiles at them. Episode end. Wow. Thoughts?
Well, that's one way to do it. I got some serious Magi Ranger flashbacks from that. Just to those of you who've seen it and you remember Mimi, or to my Mystic Force fans, Imperius, particularly his intro, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Uh-huh. This felt a bit like that. It's that sense of, holy shit, what have we gotten ourselves into? And I'm a little worried because Zamigo still creeps me the fuck out. And I kinda don't want to see him ally with anybody. So I am interested to see where next week goes, though I won't spoil anything, but I think I might have an idea what he answers with, but I will not say anything here.
Uh, so when I was watching this episode, I was thinking to myself, like, is this episode a two-parter? It kind of feels like it might be a two-parter. But then I thought, oh wow, it looks like they're defeating Giwi here, so maybe not. But then that happens at the end, so it kind of like it is a two-parter. I didn't think we were like rushing through these guys like this. I thought we were going to spend our time on them. Uh, the mech fight was good. It was simple, but I'm not complaining too much because all of the on the ground stuff was really good this episode. It was fantastic. Uh, I'm interested in finding out like how Ryman did that because his safe wasn't glowing at any point, so it wasn't a collection piece power. And I'm wondering if it has something to do with how Destra has his minions that grow big. All in all, looking forward to the conclusion of this.
Yeah. Final thoughts. This episode was fantastic. Great action. Great feels. And great suspense at the end. So another home run.
Easily, I was so happy with the development. I was happy with the interactions, and I'm very curious to see where this goes as well. Kudos to you, writers. And here's to the second half, making it through.
Agreed, fantastic episode. Have this series so far, and there's only one bad episode I can think of. This series is killing it, and it's shaping up to be one of my favorites. Uh, I look forward to the next 6 months of this. And based on the next episode preview, we're going to get something really good next week. Also, the movie is coming out next month. Don't know how long it's going to be before we can actually watch it, but there's something to look forward to.
Yay!
Everyone has said everything they want to.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with some more Kamen Rider build, almost done, and next week for more Lupin Ranger versus PatoRanger. See you next time.
Thanks for listening.
Adieu, and later, taters.